At the foot of Japan's iconic Mount Fuji lies Aokigahara, the Sea of Trees. It's a place of deep shadows, where light seems to fight its way through dense, twisting trees, and silence is so thick it almost presses against your skin. They say Aokigahara calls to people, especially those struggling under the weight of their own sadness, as if this forest, blanketed in eerie quiet, somehow understands them. Some who enter never return, and those who do often speak of sights, sounds, and sensations that blur the line between reality and nightmare. There's an ancient energy here that feels alive. It's more than a forest. It's like a place caught between worlds. And for generations, Aokigahara has captivated, terrified, and intrigued anyone who dares step into its depths. Let's explore why the Sea of Trees is not just another forest, but one of the most enigmatic places on Earth. Chapter 1. The Soundless Depths of Aokigahara. When people talk about Aokigahara, they often start with the silence, but calling it silent doesn't quite capture it. This isn't just the absence of sound, it's like stepping into a place where sound itself has been erased. Visitors have described it as vacuum-like. They say that as soon as they enter, they notice they can barely hear their own footsteps, let alone anything else. Even animals seem to avoid this place. No birds sing and no insects hum. It's as if nature itself is holding its breath. Imagine walking in and feeling your own heartbeat become the loudest noise, or hearing the slight rustle of your clothes and feeling as if it echoes around you. This level of silence does something to you. It's unnatural. Locals say the silence is an effect of the spirits who live here. Spirits that silence the forest as if they're listening, watching. They call these spirits Muenbotoke, or unclaimed souls who never found peace. And in this quiet, strange things happen. People hear faint laughter or whispers, but when they turn, there's no one there. Footsteps echo in the distance, yet no one is approaching. Some believe these sounds are the restless souls of those who never made it out, still wandering, searching for something they lost. Others think the forest itself is alive, that it's the forest trying to draw them deeper in. Chapter 2. Legends of the Lost. Japan has a long history of ghost stories, but Aokigahara's tales seem darker, more sorrowful. The forest is believed to be haunted by yurei, spirits of those who died with pain, anger, or regrets. These spirits are believed to linger, unable to move on. Some of these yurei are called jikininki, or hungry ghosts, spirits that wander the earth, feeding on energy, even on the essence of the living. Imagine being in Aokigahara at night with nothing but the faint light from a flashlight, surrounded by the oppressive silence, and then feeling something behind you. They say that if you feel a hand on your shoulder, you shouldn't turn around. According to legend, acknowledging a yurei will give it permission to follow you, even after you leave the forest. Some people who've ignored this advice claim they felt haunted for days, with an eerie sensation that someone was watching them, standing just beyond the light. Locals avoid the forest at night, and those who dare to enter alone often carry charms to ward off spirits. To them, this isn't just folklore, it's a real threat, one they'd rather not risk. Chapter 3. A place of endless sorrow. Aokigahara's dark reputation isn't just based on ghost stories. In the 1960s, a novel called Kuroi Jukai, The Black Sea of Trees, was published, depicting Aokigahara as a place where people went to end their suffering. This association with tragic endings only grew, and soon Aokigahara became known as Suicide Forest. Search parties venture in regularly to look for those who haven't come out. Imagine being one of those searchers, coming across tents left behind mid-journey, notes to loved ones pinned to trees, belongings left like tiny shrines. Each of these remnants tells a story, and many are found close to the entrance, as if the people who left them hesitated, turned back, and only after standing on the edge did they decide to go deeper. People say Aokigahara holds on to the sorrow left behind. Even visitors with no history of depression have reported feeling a heaviness, an unexplainable sadness that seems to deepen with each step. Some believe that this forest absorbs despair, amplifies it, reflecting the pain of those who died there onto anyone who enters. Chapter 4. The Forest That Defies Nature. Aokigahara isn't just mysterious, it's confusing. The forest terrain is volcanic, with a labyrinth of caves hidden beneath the trees. One of these is the Narasawa Ice Cave, a dark and freezing tunnel that stays full of ice year-round. It's a place where even the air feels heavier, as if holding a secret. Locals see these caves as gateways, portals to the spirit world. They're places to be avoided, especially at night. Compasses and GPS often fail here due to high iron content in the soil, but there's more to it than that. Some people report feeling physically pulled or drawn by an invisible force, as if the forest itself is guiding them deeper. Some who enter find themselves emerging miles away with no idea how they got there. It's almost as if Aokigahara rearranges itself, preventing those who enter from finding their way back. This phenomenon only adds to the forest's reputation as a place that defies the laws of nature. Some even call it a living maze, a place that resists those who want to leave. Chapter 5. A gateway between worlds. Aokigahara is more than just a forest. In Japanese culture, it's seen as a Yomotsu Hirasaka, or gateway to the afterlife. People claim to have seen translucent figures moving between the trees, ghostly shapes that vanish when approached. Some believe these are spirits crossing between worlds, souls who have no interest in the living but who watch and wait in silence. Many visitors describe seeing familiar faces in these shadows, people they've lost, figures from their past. These apparitions don't speak, don't interact, but they watch, as if waiting for something. Some say these spirits are reaching out for closure. Others think they're part of the forest, luring people deeper in. Whatever the truth, seeing a face you recognize in Aokigahara only for it to vanish leaves a mark, one that stays with you long after you've left. Chapter 6. A Mirror of Despair. Psychologists who study Aokigahara's effects have noticed something strange. The forest seems to reflect and amplify the emotions of those who enter, a phenomenon called emotional mirroring. Those who enter with peace may find calm in its depths, but those who bring darker feelings often find them magnified, sometimes unbearably so. The effect is so pronounced that some researchers have compared the forest to a living entity, one that interacts with visitors' inner worlds. Imagine going in feeling fine, maybe even curious about the forest's eerie reputation. But as you walk, a subtle unease builds, a vague discomfort that you can't shake. For some, this quiet discomfort slowly deepens into anxiety or even despair. It's as if Aokigahara taps into your mind, finding your deepest fears and amplifying them until they feel inescapable. This phenomenon has led some to believe that Aokigahara acts like an emotional sponge, absorbing the despair of all who have suffered within its boundaries and reflecting it back onto the living. Whatever lies hidden within you, the sea of trees seems to find it, exposing whatever truths you may not want to confront. Chapter 7. Strange phenomena and superstitions. Locals share unspoken rules about entering Aokigahara, guidelines that, to them, are essential for survival. One rule: never bring personal keepsakes or mirrors. Mirrors are believed to capture spirits, and bringing one into Aokigahara risks trapping a soul that could follow you home. Many avoid carrying cherished items like jewelry or family heirlooms, fearing they might attract spirits who were once attached to similar belongings. Then there are the small shrines scattered at the forest entrance, makeshift offerings left by previous visitors or locals seeking protection. Some visitors leave small bags of salt, a Japanese custom for purification, while others sprinkle rice along their path to ward off malevolent entities. These offerings aren't just tokens of respect, but acts of self-preservation, a plea for safe passage. Even the search parties that enter Aokigahara follow these superstitions, taking precautions that might seem strange to outsiders. To the locals, these gestures aren't mere tradition, they're essential acts of respect and caution. The forest is viewed not only as a physical place, but as a realm filled with spirits that could be disturbed or angered. Chapter 8. Lost in Time. Another strange phenomenon reported by those who enter Aokigahara is lost time. People say that hours spent in the forest feel like minutes, while others have walked for what they thought was a few minutes, only to find that hours have passed. Some even speak of blacking out and finding themselves in entirely different parts of the forest, with no memory of how they moved. This sense of time slipping away has unsettled countless visitors, leaving them disoriented and confused. Without sunlight filtering through the canopy, it's easy to lose track of day and night, leading some to feel as though they're floating in a place where time itself behaves differently. But the phenomenon goes beyond simple disorientation. Some claim that Aokigahara exists in a kind of time loop, a place where the boundaries between past, present, and future are blurred. They believe the forest traps those who wander too deeply, pulling them into an endless cycle of lost minutes, hours, even days. There are stories of people entering the forest at night and emerging in daylight, with no idea how time passed or what happened during those lost hours. For some, these tales hint at Aokigahara as a place caught outside of time itself, a place where time is as fluid as the paths that seem to change at will. Chapter 9. Unsettling discoveries and the unexplained. During search missions, local authorities have discovered unsettling formations within Aokigahara, carefully arranged stone circles, trees with strange carvings, and piles of rocks assembled in unnatural patterns. While some dismissed these as natural, others believe they were placed intentionally, possibly by those who once used the forest for rituals. These eerie formations give the forest an air of something ancient and sacred, almost as if it was once hallowed ground. Among the strangest discoveries are weathered prayer stones inscribed with symbols that no one has been able to decipher. These stones are scattered deep within the forest, suggesting that whoever placed them meant for them to remain hidden. Some locals believe these stones were left to contain or ward off spirits, while others think they're offerings left for the forest itself, meant to appease forces that might otherwise harm intruders. These artifacts hint that Aokigahara may have held spiritual significance long before it became known as the Suicide Forest. Could these stones be remnants of an ancient belief system, a lost culture that saw Aokigahara as a place of power? Or were they warnings, messages from those who understood the forest's darker side and sought to protect future generations from what lay within? A mystery that grows deeper. Aokigahara remains one of the world's most enigmatic places, a forest filled with mysteries and shadows that defy explanation. Here, where science meets superstition, the natural and supernatural blur. And perhaps that's the power of Aokigahara. The mystery is unsolved, and each story only adds another layer to its legend. The Sea of Trees isn't just a forest. It's a mirror, reflecting humanity's darkest fears. It's a place that tests our understanding of life, death, and what lies beyond. If you enjoyed this journey into Aokigahara, the Sea of Trees, don't forget to like and subscribe for more explorations of the unknown.